Yo, what is up guys, it's Aqsept here and welcome back to another video. Alright, so today, I was thinking what we're gonna do. We're gonna review my own game. And I'm not talking about some solo queue game or anything like that. I'm talking about an actual official game, which I played in the Swedish League. So this is from spring, I think, like 2021 then. So spring season 2021. This was the LCSC, so that was Swedish Division 2, I think. And pretty much I decided I have the game saved. I'll watch them and kind of review my own gameplay. I'm gonna try to not review the other players too much, because I know not every player here is perfect, including myself. I'm also not gonna watch it with audio. We're gonna do it at 2 speed to not waste too much time. So I'm playing Jayce this game against Gragas. This was a pretty common matchup, like maybe not for a lot of people in my elo, but I played a lot of Jayce and a lot of people play Gragas, and it was a pretty common matchup in general. So because I play Jayce a lot, it means I get to play against Gragas a lot as well. We're doing a pretty standard cover here. I can't remember why we wanted Water Bush, but from the looks of it, we wanted to late invade here. So I guess that's it pretty much. So you wanted to ward and you just wanted to swap the sweeper anyways. To get the late invade off. I mean, overall this is fine. It's not the greatest, but it's kind of alright. What we kind of have to look at this game, I feel like, is... I think the enemy team has a Senna... They have a Senna Ashe bot lane. So pretty much what we can already like conclude from that is Ashe can't really roam, or Senna can't roam a lot mid lane like a lot of supports want to do, right? So even though they can get prio here, they can force here, they can get prio, right? But it doesn't really matter. Senna doesn't want to roam, so she's not really gonna roam too much. She's maybe gonna roam a little bit. But even if she does, like they get prio there, and then normally Syndra would beat Orianna. But what I can do now is I can take prio against this guy. And then I can just roam down mid lane pretty much whenever I have a crash. And this way we can force prio, right? So it actually means... And also Alistar can use concede lane, because they can't really... Like, they don't have a lot of engage. At least not before Ashe gets her ult. It's kind of troll that we don't play cleanse here, I think. But in general, Alistar kind of wants to roam here. So he can also roam up. And then we can just always get prio mid. And we can always control the map that way. Like, especially topside, because there's no way Gragas gets prio against me, if that makes sense. Alright, so I use slow push here. I feel like I'm pushing a bit too fast. Normally what you want to do is you want to crash the 3rd wave or the 4th wave. This game is probably a 4th wave. Considering that we know that the enemy, I think it was Mundo, started blue and we split the map as well. We kind of know that he's not going to be topside for like pretty much the entire game, or anytime soon at least. Like, he's going to be topside when his Raptor spawn next time pretty much. If even that. So I have a lot of time to play on, and Gragas can't really pressure me, so I should just be playing for 4th wave crash here, and I should also not be playing... This item is Giga Troll. Like, this item is so fucking bad, and this is so bad. Don't play Cookies, don't play Dorn's Blade when you play Jayce. Pretty much. The reason being is that, like, you can just play Longsword, and what you want to do is you want to pressure and you want to get Serrated Dirk really early on, so you play Future Market as well, and then after 4th wave crash you can always get your Serrated Dirk, pretty much, if you don't miss a lot of CS, which... I've missed a bit this game. I missed the cannon now as well. It's kind of troll. Had I not missed like too many minions, I should get it still. So in general here, I'm doing a pretty poor job of poking this Gragas. Like, if we look at how I'm playing. Like, why am I hitting... Like, it's fine to hit minions here in general. But like, when he walks up for this cannon, there's no way he's gonna be allowed to walk up. Like, look at this guy. He's standing in range. I think what I want to do is just get the wave in, but I don't know, at this point, like, we don't play to get wave in anyways. We already trolled. Gragas went and checked his Krugs in case Udryr is doing them. We also know that Mundo is probably top if he's doing this, because Mundo probably... Like, it doesn't make sense for Gragas to walk over here. Because if Udryr is standing there, Gragas is not going to be able to solo him. So Mundo is always going to be here if he does that. So we kind of know it already, so me pushing the wave here, I mean, it's a bit troll. I kind of get the wave in anyways because Gragas trolls as well, so that's lucky for me, but if he's good at the game here, he won't even chase me, he will just take a freeze. Our Udryr is doing a pretty good job at counter jungling in this game at least. And he also gets a solo kill here, which is pretty good for him. So once again, I don't know why I'm pushing here. Like, I'm force pushing all the time when I get the opportunity. Like, we check Gragas' mana right here. He has mana to maybe cast 1 spell rotation, right? So his mana is over here right now. If we don't hit these minions, they're gonna start pushing towards us, because if wave is over here, like, if we draw a line here, this is the middle of the lane, right? Anytime where his minions is on this side, pretty much, it's always gonna push towards me, pretty much. So what I do is I don't hit these minions. Like, I just sit back, or I walk up like this into the bush, and I hit him. And what I can do is I can walk out and I can walk in. Right? So I walk in, walk out, and I'll auto-attack him in between, because on these minions he can't really E us anyways. Unless he walks like this, but then he gives us a free EQ and we can just back off and we can walk like this instead. So we should just let him push, because we can always hold a freeze when he has no items pretty much. He has no items, he has no mana. Like, sure, he has HP, but we don't really care because he can't push the wave in. He only has single target damage when he doesn't have mana. So I don't know, us force pushing here, especially like, we don't need this prior to do anything, right? Like, we gain nothing from this. The only thing which we could maybe argue we gain from it is we kind of deny Gragas from ever gaining a TP. He kind of has to stay in lane, but we don't need to force him to stay to lane. If we want to, like, if we just force a freeze, then he's going to have to TP back in our lane. It's going to be in such a favorable position anyways. Now we force his TP back anyways, which is kind of lucky because he takes a bad trade. Because I think he wanted to deny us TPing, but we never want to TP there anyways. So he TP's back, I'm staying in lane, this is completely fine. I'm not that strong right now though. He has a Bramble and I only have starting items. If you look at my items, I have Doran's Blade, I have Cole, and I have Tyr. Like, I'm not a strong champion at this moment. I kinda don't like this style of Jayce. Like, sure, it scales pretty well and the champion scales pretty well in general, but this means kinda that we can never force plates. We kinda wanna get free plates as Jayce pretty much every game if possible. Especially in matchups like this where Gragas can't do a lot except for just surviving. So there's no real reason here to just sit here and do nothing. Like, this Cole is nice, but it would have been so much better if we went longsword. We went longsword, and then we, on 4th wave, we crash, right? So we have around 600 gold at that point. And then we can get straight to Dirk straight away if we also play Future Market, right? And all of a sudden, Gragas can't play for shit, because it's gonna push towards us, right? Whenever we crash like that on 4th wave, especially if we wanted to invade, we can always force this. Like, so we discussed this at the start of the game, even in Champ Select. Like, we say, alright, we want a late invade, if possible. So we late invade, we always win the late invade, because we have Jayce, we have Udyr, this is too strong of a combo, and if Orianna needs to move, she's also pretty strong, Sunrise as well, but generally these two are pretty even in strength, and Orianna can also just move up with us straight away. So pretty much, we always can force this 4th wave crash, right? Like, this is always forced. So pretty much, we just play for this, and then we play for the Serrated Dark, and then we know when we crash like this on 4th wave, it's always gonna start pushing towards us, right? So, Gragas is gonna sit here with a Doran's shield, or Doran's ring, because that's what he started, right? He's probably gonna have one pot or something, because we might have failed poking him or something, or he did a good job. But pretty much, we can just force a freeze right here. We have Serrated Dirk against the Doran's ring, and he also is gonna have, like, health issues if we trade it properly. We're just gonna fucking force on him. We're just gonna stand, if the wave is over here, we're just gonna stand like right here or right here or right here or whatever. And he's gonna have to reset and TP back, and he's also probably gonna be down in gold if we deny him properly. Like, Gragas should not be able to play this lane with how it's, like, supposed to go, but we're kind of playing poorly here. Cole and Tyr, as I said, are nice, but it's not really forcing enough. It's not really pushing the, like, early game advantage of Jayce. We can just perma-freeze on this guy, and when we have enough of a lead on him, then we can play for plates, like, and he can pretty much do nothing against it as long as we respect his ult and play around his ult in a good way. Like, once again, I'm not poking him nearly enough here. I'm just hitting minions, and it's kind of bad. Because even if he hits minions, we don't care. Like, Udyr is topside. We know that Gragas is, or Mundo is probably not topside, right? So, if he pushes and the wave is over here and we're hitting him constantly, he's gonna be, instead of here, he's gonna be around this HP or something. And Udyr can just flat out run top lane and Gragas can't play the game. He already used his TP, remember. He already used his TP. Gragas can't play the game. Instead, we take this, like, awkward trade and we're, like, constantly, like, misplaying. And we end up dying. This should never happen. This is really bad from us. The only saving grace we kind of have here is that we actually have TP still. So we TP over here. We're gonna miss that cannon though, which is pretty stupid from us. We're gonna miss the entire wave. We do, I think, end up getting a kill here. Yeah, we do end up getting a kill. But we miss the entire wave for this. Gragas should not die here if he plays correctly. if we go back, so we look at a map right now, we know Alistar is here, right? Senna is over here. So let me use the epic pen again. We know Senna is over here. But over here, Syndra's dying. And Orianna can move up. So what we can do is we can just walk up this way when Syndra has to get out. Or we kill the Syndra, even better. We TP here. So if Gragas just walks out, he's fine. But instead he decides to stay and he hits the fucking ward when he knows we have TP and when he knows we can force on him. So we kill the Syndra and we just move up here. We even take the Blast Cone. This guy's fucked. He also decides to recall here. This is really disrespectful. And then he flashes poorly as well. Because if he flashes like this, then he still has a good chance of living. Because we still don't have Alistar 6 or anything. We probably waste too much time killing him, especially with the wave over here. So this is kind of troll from both sides. We should just TP to tower and start clearing this out. And he should not be hitting this ward. There are so many points where Gragas could have avoided a death here, but I mean, I guess he gave it back to us after we trolled as well. So this is really good from us. We get 2 plates from this, I think. I don't think we go for a 3rd plate. Maybe we do, but I don't think it's worth. If we do end up going for a 3rd plate. The reason why I don't like this is because I think we could just, instead of going for this 3rd plate, because now we're stuck in this awkward position, right? Where we can't really force Gragas to do anything. So we clear this wave out, right? We go for 1 plate. This is good. We check the map for the 2nd wave here. We see the wave over here, so we take the plate and we constantly walk upwards. And if we do this, we can just one-shot the next wave, pretty much. Sure, there's a cannon there, which makes it a bit more awkward. But even if Gragas comes back, if the rest of the wave is dead, we don't care if there's a cannon there or not. We can just kill the cannon constantly, because Gragas still doesn't have ult, right? And he doesn't have flash either, so we know we can't die to him. So sure, we get this plate, but we could have taken this entire wave, and then we could have taken a reset, and we're so fucking rich at this point. Like, sure, we wouldn't have gotten that plate, so that's 1k gold instead, but we would have gotten this wave, which is the same gold as the plate. So we could just have reset, we could have walked back, and then we could just be constantly poking this guy. Because we could have gotten a Vamp Scepter, and then we could have got a longsword, or we could have gotten, I don't know. Like, in general, there's so many options. We could have gone triple longsword or something like that. We couldn't have gone triple longsword, we don't have the slots, but you get my point. We could have gone a Vamp Set, we could have gone a double control ward, and we have an entire vision in this jungle, and all of a sudden Mundu can't play the game. Because we have perma prior against this Gragas, because he can't poke us with Vamp Scepter. And at the same time, we have full vision in here, so Mundu can't play the game. Instead we decide to do this, where we're sitting on a lot of gold, and we're actually allowing this Gragas to punish us. It doesn't make any sense how we're playing. Now we have to take this awkward base, or we don't have the gold we want, or we do have the gold we want technically, but we're missing this entire wave, and we were giving back him this plate, because we decided to go for 3 plates, so he can go for 1. He doesn't go for it because he's fucking stupid or something, but in general, we missed the entire wave still. It's pretty much, this entire wave could have been gotten, and we could have gotten that plate as well this game. So now pretty much the dragon is spawning. I think the general call this game was that if Gragas moves down or TP's down, we should play for Jayce. So Jayce just does whatever he wants. I think in this case we said we're strong enough to fight, so we move down. I'm not sure I like this. I think I could just have taken tower here. Gragas doesn't have TP or anything. We just give Drake. I don't know. It's an awkward position because in general, taking this tower unlocks the entire map for us pretty much. But as well, like, they have the wave over here. We can push this out, I feel like. Like, I feel like if we just play for mid prior here, you're gonna lose this. We can take 2 plates here, and I can take 2 plates here. The enemy team is fucked. Like, we shouldn't be contesting this Drake in the first place, I feel like. It kinda ends up well, because we get a good combo, and here's a pause. So I remember discussing in the pause a lot on what we wanted to do, and we came to the conclusion that we didn't wanna play for Drake anyways, even though we just got this kill, because we saw TP here as well, I remember. So we said, alright, Jayce just takes the mid wave, and we take plates on Jayce. So this entire thing, sure, it would have been great, but we could just have played for this instead, and it wouldn't unlock the entire map. This doesn't unlock anything. We could already have gotten plates as well. We even have had Herald, which I didn't account for initially. So what we could have played for is we could just have gone 4 or 3 people mid with like MF bot lane pushing this solo. We could have spawned Herald. They have to respond, but they also want to take Drake, right? So we get at least 3 plates here. We get 2 plates here. We're so fucking rich at this point. Even though we lost the first streak, we don't care. So we took 2 plates here in mid lane, and then we decided we're gonna fight this again. I really don't know what we're doing. I think we decided that we were gonna give Drake, and then when they decided to go bot lane to respond to the Hurl, we were like, alright, let's go Drake again then. This is such like sloppy play from both sides. I think we just said Orianna goes top to catch the wave because she's faster than me at that point. But I should just have gone mid then, and we should just have played out the lanes for a while until we can swap back. This is kind of troll because we lose like half a mid wave there as well. Alright, so what we either do is we force on these guys, and we force the tower. Towers, like, plates are gonna despawn, so we don't care like too much about the plates. We're just gonna take the tower in general, and it's gonna unlock this entire like jungle. Like, this is what I've been saying the entire game as well. This unlocks the entire jungle. Udyr has been counter jungling the entire game, and I have such an easy time pushing. We should just play for this tower, and like Mundo can't play the game here. Or what we can do is everyone can just move down towards bot lane. But it's kind of awkward because Ashe is not in lane yet, right? So it takes so long in order to force this. So what we should do is we should just perma-force on top lane here. Instead, Udyr resets, and he, for some reason, runs top lane again. And Alistar is like, oh well, I'm gonna place a ward, I guess. And then he runs bot lane as well. Like, this is kind of fine, because now at least we have a plan from the looks of it, right? This is what I said as well. We don't have to play for this. I think it's preferred because of MF not being in lane straight away. But we can at least play for this now. And we can just dive them. We know Senna is not here yet. So what happens along the way? We clear out some vision. Udyr for some reason decides he's gonna go top side again instead of helping with this bot side play, even though his camps are spawning in bot side. And Orianna decides to clear mid, which is fine. So instead of forcing this, Udyr goes here, and then he goes here, and he's ready for a counter gank on this TP. He decides, alright, I'm gonna walk up top lane. And then when he doesn't see anyone here, he's like, alright, I'm gonna go into the enemy jungle. And then he sees nothing here, and he's doing nothing for entire 2 minutes. And meanwhile, the entire win con we had the last 2 minutes is losing. Sure, we get this tower top lane, and it's great and all, but this could have been done so much cleaner. We don't have to lose anything off it. So around this time is like when Jayce starts like dominating this matchup. Like, we could have done a lot more early on, but this is where the matchup starts getting really easy, because either what happens is Gragas goes tank, and then we just get free prio every time because he doesn't have any damage, right? We don't care about what he wants to do, we only care what we want to do. And we also have lifesteal, so even if he decides to trade with us, it's really good for us. Now, the second thing he can do is he can go AP, and then we have to be scared of his one-shot, but we also one-shot him. And we have, in general, more plays to do than he does. Like, it requires him, like, he requires us to misplay if he wants to, like, punish us when he's, like, full AP. So we're playing a bit awkwardly again. I don't know why we're not forcing a trade on this Gragas. This Gragas is so weak compared to us. He's so weak compared to us. Yeah, look at this. Like, why didn't we do this fucking 2 minutes ago? I don't understand. We force this flash, and it's pretty good. We decide to TP, and Gragas actually cancels our TP. This is something I remember pretty well. We do end up killing him. We lose to Drake, and we get top tower. This is kind of alright. The awkward thing is that our team is expecting us to be there pretty much, right? Because I say, alright, I'm gonna TP guys, I'm gonna be there in like 4 seconds or whatever. But then I'm not there. The scary thing here is that they're also like 1 Drake away from Soul, right? So Cloud Soul is not the strongest in general, but if we look at enemy comp, alright, so which champions actually utilize it pretty well? Alright, so Mundo has a single, like, a spell which he can cast straight away. And he wants to run at people. This is a pretty good soul for Mundo in general. Gragas doesn't really utilize it that well. Let's be honest here. Like, he casts his ult in an awkward way, and he doesn't really need the movement speed. Alright, and then we look at the 3 other champions. So Syndra is an immobile carry, who also can ult very easily while still being mobile. It's pretty good for her. It's pretty good for Ashe, because she wants to do the same, and she also really cares about the ult cooldown. Senna, it's a bit more awkward. She's an immobile carry, but she's standing still while she's casting her ult, so it's not as good on her, and she also doesn't move as actively as these other champions. So it's kind of like decent on her, but not that good. So in general, it's a pretty good soul for them. So we don't really want to give them this. It's still good for us that it's a Cloud Soul and not something else, because we still have a lot of peel. Like, if they want to run at us, MF is just, like, MF, Jayce, Alistar, we're just gonna destroy them. But mainly it's annoying for, like, their backline carriers as well, getting that much movement speed. Like, this is also when Cloud Soul, or Cloud Drakes rather, gave ult cooldown reduction and not the attack speed and movement speed like it does now, or rather the slow resistance. Alright, so what we see here is a pretty uncoordinated play, I feel like. We're not playing as a team at all, I feel like. We're just kind of confused. Orianna goes like, look at this. Alright, so what happens here? So, we have a slow pushing top lane wave, which is a bit awkward. So, what we know they're gonna do is they're gonna go top lane at least. So that's something we can work with. So now what we can do is we can have Orianna go mid. I can push this out because Gragas, we said this, Gragas is a fucking tank. He can't push. So we push this out, we all move towards mid lane. And then we take Prio here, because even though we know someone's gonna be standing here, they need to catch this wave, and we already have a lot of vision here. And we want to play around this Nash. So we all walk in here. Okay, I'm gonna have to clear this out. We all walk in here. We take a vision, like some vision here. We take some vision here. This is a bit deep, so probably not there. But in general, this is so fucking good for us. We can place a control ward here. They can't play the game. Sure, they have Ashe, so they can deny, like, always see when we do Nash if they want to. But it's still really good for us, because it means that if they make a mistake, we're gonna control the entire game. So instead what we do here is we have Orianna walk top lane. And I walk mid lane here after awkward reset. It's not that awkward because we get our item, which we really want, and we get some control wards, but it's still a bad reset, because in general we should just do this, like instead of us getting this mid prio, all of a sudden enemy team is playing with mid prio. Which is good from them, but they're not supposed to be, like, be able to get mid prio here with 4 members when we can be 5 here. So instead what we do is we take one wave, and then we're like, alright, let's just do Nash, I guess. And we know Ashe has Hawkshot. So we know they're gonna respond really heavily to this. We still force it. We do end up getting it, but I feel like this fight shouldn't be good for us. I'm not sure how I feel about this fight. So in general, I feel like if they wanna force on us, it's kinda easy for them to do it. Sure, Alistar is kinda zoning them, which is really good from him. And we're still hitting this. But they have Syndra, like they have Syndra Q, E, whatever. Like she can, like, damage more than Smite, pretty much. Sure, we have Jayce EQ, so it kinda neutralizes it in a way. But in general, what they can do here is they can use all walk at us. They have Ashe ult, they have Senna ult, they have so much use walk at us. And it's kind of bad for us to sit here and hit this. Gragas TP comes in so late as well. So now what happens is it's a kind of uncoordinated fight in a way. So what we see here is, we see Ashe getting hit by this ult, or MF getting hit by this Ashe ult, which is really awkward in general. We don't want her to get hit. This Alistar is like 1 HP the entire fight without having ulted yet. This Uru like runs in solo. And everyone's just split up in a way. MF and Orianna can't play the game. I can't really play the game. I kinda can with EQ, but not otherwise. I kinda end up getting lucky because Orianna got a good ult. And here I'm trolling. Because I go too deep in general. Like, this is not too bad because I ended up cleaning up because the enemy team overextended here. If they decide, alright, we got the Alistar, we can maybe get one of these two if we play it well. But in general, these two, like, they can't play the game. Udyr could have died here so easily as well if they decided to go on that instead. So what I do is I EQ. If I don't E here, I think she just dies every time. Then I decided to take the blast cone as well. We ended up like having 3 people live with Nash. It's really good for us, but we cannot troll the fight. Like, I died, so we don't have 3 Nashes, but we should have 3 Nashes pretty much with how the enemy team played. And we also give them Drake now. Or maybe we don't give them Drake. What the fuck is going on? This enemy team decided they were too low or didn't have or had like too much gold, so they decided not to take the Drake, but they haven't reset either. So they're kind of trying to force the reset here, even though they can't. I don't know, they should just have melted Drake, even though Mundo wasn't there. Because even if they lose this Drake, it's not the end of the world for them, but if we lose this Drake, it's really fucking bad for us. So they should just force it, and then if they decide, alright, we can't fight this anyways, then they just back off. Like, it looks so good for them when they get that Udyr pick. So we still have Nash on Orianna, so we should utilize it, which we kind of do. We end up taking the bot tower, which is pretty good from us. We take this, and we rotate towards mid. And MF decides, alright, I'm gonna solo the Senna, which doesn't work apparently. While these two are walking mid. If we just take it slow, we get every tower here on the map. I guess he got Ashe ulted as well, but I don't know. In general, like, MF standing there alone is so bad. Instead, we have to take this like semi-awkward reset where we can't utilize the Nash we got on Orianna, so the entire fight we took around Nash was so fucking bad. Like, we do nothing with the fight. So once again, we play really uncoordinated. We get the top lane pick, which is pretty good. But then we take a fight in mid lane, which in general is like the one way we lose. I think we play this fight pretty well. We play it pretty slow. If we actually do it on less speed, because I think this is actually the deciding team fight pretty much. So I think I remember calling like, just wait my EQ, I have EQ in this many seconds, and then I flash for it. Which is really big. Syndra dies here as well, I'm pretty sure. No, she does flash. Alright, never mind. But once again, we play kind of uncoordinated here. Like, if we look back on it, like, if everyone just walks this way, Udyr doesn't need to stand here. MF Orianna is kind of trolling. Everyone just walks through the entire, like, the big choke instead. Like, I can just solo the fight pretty much. So we end up getting the Ashe, which is, like, real big this game. But it's not a clean fight. This could have been done so much better. So what happens here, we really want the Drake because we don't want to deny them soul. But when doing this, we end up giving them, like, the prio on Nash. So in general, I think it's good that not everyone takes this, but I think only me or potentially Orianna, but Orianna can solo this game. So it's only me that should be taking the Drake, because in general, I don't care who does it, but I have TP, right, and I'm the only one who really can solo it, except for like maybe Udyr or MF, because Orianna takes like 10 ages to do. So MF being here just makes it so that we're both late to the fight pretty much. And we kind of end up trolling it. Like, because they're so, like, they get Nash so low, we kind of end up forcing a fight. So Udyr just runs straight in there. Imagine if MF is here, it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, look at them all getting hit by Orianna ult. Like, it's actually doing shit. I can TP over here, it's pretty good. It's not that bad. But in general, we troll this fight because we walk in one by one. So MF does this pretty good by just ignoring whatever happens at Nash, and she just takes the tower instead. This applies pressure, she's probably gonna die. She doesn't die, okay, never mind. She should die here if enemy team decides to. Alright, one person just walk behind the MF. This MF is really weak, so like it shouldn't be hard. Munu can do it or something, or someone who's pretty good on HP can just walk up behind her. And we're now stuck in this awkward space where we don't have Nash. We're kind of being threatened by the enemy getting soul. We end up taking a fight here. Now this fight should be really bad for us. There's no reason for us ever to walk up this way. We should just all be hunkering up here. We have this here, pushing really good. We have this, which is in a decent space, so they have to go here. When they go here, then we can walk up. And we can try to force on them. The awkward thing is we don't really have anything to force. We can have slows and we're running at them, right? So instead what we do here is we walk up 3 people here. Alright, so what happens here? If Senna hits a CC, we're kind of fucked. If Ashe throws an arrow, we're kind of fucked. If Gragas gets a good ult off, we're kind of fucked. There's a lot of stuff which can go really wrong here. If Syndra gets a big EQ, yeah, the game is just over. Now what does happen is only Udyr gets hit by pretty much everything, which is really good for us. And Orianna actually does get a really good fucking ult off. So props to him. But it's still really over-aggressive in a way. And this should not be something which we should celebrate. This is not something which should have gone positive, I feel like. We end up ending the game from this. We said we were just gonna end through top lane instead of mid lane. It doesn't really matter. I think it's a bit faster through top lane, but I'm not sure, because we have 2 towers we have to break here as well. Either way, we end up ending the game, we end up hitting Nexus. Pretty good. But in general, this game, as we can see, it wasn't the cleanest. You gotta remember, every player here, I think... I wasn't master at the time. I don't think the mid lane was master at the time, but I think everything was like from Diamond 1 range up until like 300 LP or something. So in general, it's not that bad. Like, elo, elo wise, it's not the worst. Like, it's still the top like something percent of players, you know, it's pretty high up there, but it's still a lot of flaws to it. Anyways, guys, I think this was enjoyable to do for me, at least. I mean, I wanted to watch my own perspective and like review my own games. I think it's fun, and it kind of shows you, like, I used to play at, I don't want to say high level because I don't think it was high, but at a semi-decent level. Like, the times where I got to like semi-decent levels, I used to play at them, at least, you know. So like, I think it's fun to just review them. If you guys want me to do more of this, then just leave a like on the video or leave a comment down below. If there's something else you want, then you can comment down below as well. I kind of try to do what you guys want to do. Like, a lot of people gave me positive feedback on my latest video, actually, the Nidalee guide. So that was pretty nice. I kind of enjoy getting the feedback, and I'm probably gonna make more similar videos to that because of the positive feedback which I'm getting, even if it's hard work behind it. Anyways, guys, that's kind of it for the video. If you haven't already, then please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. For you, it's just a click, but for me, it means the world. So I would really appreciate that. And if you want to, you can also watch me on Twitch. I try to stream daily. I might try to record a few videos over there sometime soon, and then make like cut out edits of them, pretty much. So if you guys want to see that live, then you can check me down in the description. Anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.